Hi, this is Amanda with Always in Love. We have a special treat for you guys today. We have an author joining us for a brief interview. We are here with Christy Webster, and as always, Ethel.
Hello. Hi, Christy.
Hi. Okay, so I guess if you want to start, we can kind of go over a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and the kind of books that you write.
I'm a mom of 2 kids, and I have a husband. We've been married for like 13 years, and I write all kinds of romance books. So pretty much any kind that I feel like writing that has romance in it, I write it. So that's about all.
Simple, huh, Christy?
You what?
You keep it simple, huh?
I do. I'm really boring, really.
No, I don't think you are. And so we have Amanda and I are really excited that you're going to be our first author to do this with us. We have some really fun ideas with the rest of Always in Love vlog. And so I'll let Amanda go with some rapid-fire questions.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What is your favorite word?
Yay!
What is your least favorite word?
Bills. I don't know.
What is your favorite curse word?
Oh, gosh, you would ask me to curse on the computer. Fuck.
It's very versatile. Sorry, we got a visitor. My dog is kind of wanting attention.
Okay.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Probably graphic design. Just do more of that if I had to. Do what?
Don't you already basically do that with your book covers and stuff?
I do. Okay. So one outside of the ones that I really do. Golly, I don't know. I really don't want to do anything else. Maybe work at a donut shop. I'm being for real.
Donuts are awesome.
They are. I would eat them every day.
I could work at Krispy Kreme and just be on the assembly line, making sure they get glazed.
Yeah, taste testing, right? Gotta make sure everything's good.
Yeah.
What profession would you absolutely not want to do?
I would say being a teacher, you have to be really, really just dedicated and patient for that, and I just wouldn't be able to do that. I just really thank God for the teachers that my kids have, because, I can barely deal with my own kids. I can imagine like 30 of them.
What is one thing about yourself that would surprise us?
I don't know. I'm lazy. Is that not surprising?
I don't know how you can be lazy with all the books you write, Christy.
Because that's all I do. So, like, my house is like a pit, and the laundry is way overdue, and my husband's walking around with no underwear because he doesn't have any clean ones.
If you could commit one crime without being caught, what would you do?
I don't know. I kind of think I'd like to be like a peeping Tom, because then I could, like, my husband makes fun of me because when we drive through the neighborhood, I like to peer in the windows when we're driving to see what people are doing.
I like that. I like that answer.
It's true. Then I could just, like walk around and just check out what people are doing, spy into their lives. I don't know.
If you could pick one person's brain, dead or alive, for an hour, who would you choose?
I'm going to say Pepper Winters, because I want to know how she just does everything that she does and just makes it look effortless. So, yeah, I'd like to just get up inside her head, peek in her windows.
Are you a morning person or more of a night owl?
I'm more of a night owl. I stay up till like 2 o'clock in the morning. Just getting into trouble.
Who is your celebrity crush?
I have to say, I don't know, Ryan Reynolds, I guess.
Good choice.
He's funny.
What are your favorite foods?
Well, that would be easy. Brownies. And brownies.
How do you like your brownies?
Do what?
How do you like your brownies?
I like them. Okay, my family knows this about me. I'm the brownie crazy person. And so when we make the brownies, I have to always have the centerpiece every single time. Like family get-togethers, you know, like if I go to like a picnic or whatever, I always have to have the centerpiece because it's the softest and it's the gooeyest. And it's mine. So everybody knows this.
Do you like them more fudgy or more cakey or somewhere in between?
You know, fudgy, like almost not quite cooked all the way. You gotta eat it with a spoon.
What is your favorite movie?
I love Vanilla Sky, Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz. That's my favorite one. And my husband and I, it's like our love movie, and we just like quote all of it all the time together. It's cute. So yes, I love that movie.
What would be an ideal day in Kay Webster's world?
Well, I would be at the beach, first of all, in my beach condo next to Alessandra Torres, and we would be writing with no kids and lots of coffee on the back patio watching the dolphins. So, yeah, that would be an ideal day for me. I just like to write all day, so any kind of distraction just frustrates me.
What's your favorite boy band? Current, old, whatever. Your favorite boy band?
Oh, NSYNC.
Yes!
Guess I'm the loser, and I never listened to him.
Bye, bye, bye.
Oh, I did. That's the one song I did listen to. That's the only song I know.
I've seen them in concert. I just knew that like they were gonna make me their girlfriend, but it didn't happen. I was like 19. That's what's been embarrassing.
So, puppies or kittens?
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to say I love kittens, but I'm allergic to them, so I guess puppies, so I don't die.
Well, in an ideal world, would you rather have
In
puppies?
an ideal world, I would rather hold a little kitten.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Okay, I cannot stand when people spit their gum out in the parking lot because I always step in it every single time. Always, every single time. Doesn't matter when. I am the person that steps in it. So yes, it just drives me crazy.
What is your favorite reality show?
Oh, I like that Naked and Afraid, where they go outside into the jungle for like 28 days or something, and I always want to spin it into a love story, but they end up hating each other, but because they're out there naked and they're afraid of like snakes and stuff, and I don't know, I just think it would be, I don't know, I just wish they would make it a love story.
What is your favorite pizza topping?
Mushrooms, extra, and they never put extra ever.
Okay, this is our last one for this section. What is your craziest fan story?
Oh, well, not naming any names, but at my last signing, one of my friends came up and told me that she knows all about that cucumbers, all about cucumber action, and I was like, what? I didn't know about this. I just made it up. She's like, no, it's good. I was like, what? So yeah, that was pretty crazy for me. I was like bright red, just listening. So
Traumatized for days after that.
yeah, but she was cool with it. She was all proud. So I was like, all right, you go, girl.
Whoa.
All right, so that is the end of our rapid fire 20 questions. I don't know if it was actually 20 because I lost count, but
All right, so now you get to deal with me, and I'm going to talk about your books.
Okay.
And so, which I loved them. They were my favorite. So, out of all the male characters in this series, who would you marry, kill, and fuck?
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, first of all, let's kill Brandon. Get him out of the way. And then marry War, of course, and fuck Gabe. because, you know, he's Gabe.
Gabe. What type of a writer are you? Are you a planner, or are you a procrastinate it all out?
Okay, so I kind of showed you guys in the group a couple times, but I write down like 6 notes, like half written, you can't even read them notes, but that's my like little outline, and pretty much I try to stick to the outline in my head, but other than that, you know, I don't keep like detailed notes because I could be spending that time writing, and I cannot stand just planning the whole time. I just have to just get in there, and because for the most part, the book is kind of like a movie in my head, so I'm just kind of recording it. So
How do you get in that writing zone then?
Well, usually I think about it a lot. So I like replay the movie over and over in my head again, like in the shower, in the car, you know, if I'm doing laundry, I just keep thinking about it. And like I hear them talking and I can see what they're doing. And so then I just, you know, I get so excited because I want to get it out, and then I just dive in and just go. So
that's awesome. Okay, so you write so many different genres. What is your favorite one to write? Is there a genre that you are dying to write that you haven't tried?
I'd say my favorite's the dark, because I just like doing whatever I want and really having no rules. And so that's kind of the writer I am. I don't like to write with rules or parameters. I just do what I want. But I would, this sounds silly, but I would like to write like, you know, like a teen romance, but I don't think I could keep the naughty words and the sex out of it. So that's why and then it would become a chore and I would hate it. So maybe when I'm like an old lady, I don't know.
Okay, what do you listen to while you write?
Well, I usually have like a playlist for each book, and then I just kind of listen to that playlist for that book over and over and over again. And I'm a big fan of like hard rock, like just edgy kind of loud guitar kind of rock, so anything that kind of falls in there.
Okay, so what type of research did you have to do to write War and Gabe and Bailey?
Well, you know, I had to research all of his conditions, because even though it made sense in my head, I had to make sure that it was like actually something that people suffered from, and made sure I said the right things. And I did a lot of, you know, I read about all the different kinds of conditions, and then my editor, she's got some psychology background, so she would kind of iron out some of the areas that didn't make sense, or she would tell me, you know, we need to define what this is and tell people what this is, or this wouldn't be the kind of medicine they would take, it would be this, or, you know, so she kind of like helped me iron out the weird spots. But other than that, I just, you know, got on the internet and started reading. So I mean, it didn't take like a long time, because he was already a character in my head, so he already had all these things. I just had to kind of make it more, I don't know, kind of seamless or whatever. So.
And so, do you play chess?
Do what?
Do you play chess?
I played chess a little bit over my life. It's been like probably 15 years since I played it, and I had a friend that played it, and I played. That's how I learned. But it's been a long time, so I had to get back in there and reread all of the different moves and, you know, all these things. And so I thought, you know, I wanted to have the right words or whatever. So anyway. So
when that movie was going through your head, was chess really a big part of the story?
No, you know, I'm like really, I'm like a theme person. So I don't know if you read my books, you'll notice almost all of them have a theme. There's something that I like to thread throughout. And so once I had this one little idea, like I thought she was protecting him, kind of, and so then I was like, oh, kind of like, you know, a queen would protect the king on the chessboard, and I thought, oh, I could, you know, and then I started building from there, and so that kind of became their thing, and chess seemed like something someone very, someone like War would play, just very, you know, he'd be really smart, and you know, think these things through, and just seemed like something he would do, so.
Where was that moment when this idea like came to you about War and Bailey and Gabe?
Well, you know, I've got a thing for the taboo, so it actually started from the taboo element, and I thought, you know, I liked the older man with the younger girl, and I thought, man, it'd be so cool if there was a story like about a guy that was her dad's friend. You know, this is how it started, and then I thought, well, you know, that would be kind of hot. And then I thought, but what if, you know, there's got to be a twist. What if there's like he's not the love interest or whatever? And so then I started thinking about what the big twist was. And actually in my original notes, War is not a good guy. So she kind of went from one lion's den into another. And then as soon as like I met his character in my head, I was like, no, this isn't him. He's not mean. And so then I like, you know, especially when I started researching the conditions and how they would behave, like how he would, then I was like, okay, this doesn't work. He's not mean. So he turned nice.
I just figured you watched a lot of Liam Neeson in The Taken.
I know, that's what you had said. I do, and I watch all the, you know, we watch a lot of weird stuff, and kidnapping stuff, and just gory stuff. I mean, my husband and I, we just, if it's weird, if it's graphic, if it's got sex in it, if it's people getting killed, we just watch it all. I mean, we have no hard limits when it comes to watching TV.
Did you ever, like, during writing the story, you're like, oh, this is too twisted, or this is going to be too crazy?
Yeah, okay, so I was writing it, and I thought, man, is this too dark? And you know, and I read really dark stuff, so I thought, well, it's not as dark as some of these other things that I read. So I thought, oh, it's fine. And I started thinking, well, maybe it's not fine, you know. And I talked to my editor, and she was like, you think you kind of crossed the line there? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't think I did, but maybe I did. And then I started panicking, and that's when I reached out to Pepper Winters, and I was like, I'm going to tell you this in a nutshell. What do you think? And she was like, I think if you don't think it's too dark, then it's fine. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go with that, because I really like the story. And then I just left it the way it was. So,
what was your first thought when you started writing War? I know you did all the research, because I liked War, and I liked his quirkiness. I mean, what was your first thought? You know, you said he was dark, and he kind of, I don't know if he softened, but was it fun to do it?
Yeah. It was pretty, God, I lost my train of thought. I don't know, he just kind of evolved, and I knew that I wanted to keep him as realistic as possible. I didn't want him to be like, oh, I met my girlfriend and I'm healed. You know, I still wanted him to like struggle, because that's realistic. You can still find love, and still it's going to take a long time to get rid of those problems and to work through them. And some of them you just can't work through. You know, some of them are just part of you, and I think some of them became a part of him. And so, you know, it was kind of like I wanted to show how he kind of evolved, but he didn't just magically turn into somebody else.
Yeah, he wasn't healed in one try.
Yeah. I mean, he was healed for the most part, but he would. I don't think he'll ever be. No, completely.
Do you like that all of them love to hate Gabe, and then some secretly love him and want to have his children?
Yeah, I think yes, I do love that. I love that it's just like one extreme or the other. And there's really, and then a few that had hated him kind of sort of like him sometimes, and so they don't know. And then some of them are mad because they don't want to like him, but I sometimes make them like him. And his book coming up, there's going to be some times where you're like, that is Gabe, and then other times you're going to go, oh, I just kind of like him. Why do I like him? And then you're going to be like, oh, wow, woo, that Gabe, he really knows what he's doing. And then other times you're going to be like, oh my God, this is just crazy. So it's going to be a wild ride. And I'm just going to laugh every second.
Secretly back, you're like, ha ha ha, you crazy people.
I know, I laugh.
So what do you have coming up in the next few months?
Okay, so Gabe is finished, and he goes to the editor, and then I'm trying to finish Whispers and the Roars, and that's like, it's just one of them storylines that's just gonna scramble your brain, so I can't even really tell you what it's about, except for that you're gonna go into it thinking, okay, I kind of know what's going on here, and then you're gonna go, oh my God, what's happening? What is happening? And so it's definitely a psychological romance. It'll totally mess with you, but so I'm trying to finish that one, and then I still need to work on Zeke's Purgatory, but he's being kind of stubborn, so every time I think, I'm going to get in there and write it, I open the Word document and just stare at it, and I think, whoop, and I flip over to something else because I can't just waste time like that. And so, and then I have a Little Mermaid story that'll come out, and it's already done. And then I have another story that's done, but it's going into an anthology that'll come out in like October. But for the most part, I don't really know too far ahead of time because it's just, you know, I could be working on Whispers and the Roars and then all of a sudden wake up and then just plow through Zeke, you know. So I never really know exactly. And my editor now, she knows to just write, you know, K. Webster book instead of whatever book it was. And I just tell her, be expecting something dark or be expecting something short or be expecting something this long, just so that, you know, because I don't even know. I can't even keep up with myself.
Amanda, do you have anything?
Do you have anything that's coming out soon? Anything that we can look forward to having in our hands shortly?
Yes, actually, gosh, I almost forgot about my other book. Untimely You comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, July 26th. That book comes out. It's a contemporary romance. It's not dark, but it gives you all the feels, and it's a sweet story, and it's steamy, but it's kind of sad, and it's kind of different. And so every time I had to read that book, I would just smile the whole time when I would be reading through it, and I think, oh, I just love this book. So I'm hoping that, you know, everybody's kind of used to like dark stuff lately from me, and I'm hoping they'll kind of give this book a chance, because I really think once they get into it, they'll enjoy it. I mean, it's kind of funny too, so hopefully.
I just started it.
You just started it? Aw, yeah. Hopefully you like it. So.
Okay, so we talked about what you're writing and a bunch of different stuff, and so now I kind of want to know, what are you reading, or what do you like to read? I know you mentioned Pepper Winters quite a bit, which her stuff is super dark and super awesome. But
yeah.
What do you like to read?
Obviously I like to read the dark stuff, and I just got Blood to Dust on my Kindle, and I'm excited, by L.J. Shin. I'm excited to read that. I'll probably read that like after I get off of here. And then I've been reading Rebecca Sherwin's books, and she wrote a book called Grit, and it's so good, and it's just so unlike anything you've ever read before. It's kind of dark and gritty, but it's kind of got like an old world feel to it. And then also, what did I just read that was really good? Oh, Sugar Daddies by Jade West. I really enjoyed that one. That one was steamy and kind of emotional and sweet. And so, you know, those are the ones I've been reading lately. You want to come say hi? Come here. Avery's over there.
Okay, so if there was one of your books that you would recommend for somebody to start reading your work, what would you pick?
Well, this is what I always ask them. What do you kind of like? Because I have so many different things. I don't want to send some sweet reader into Dirty Ugly Toy. But if they are pretty much open to anything, I try to start them off with Dirty Ugly Toy, because I feel like that's a good, you know, steamy kind of, but kind of dark, kind of suspenseful read. And I think that's one of my favorites. And then if they're kind of on the sweeter side, I'll send them to like Give Me Yesterday, that I wrote with L. Christensen, because it's kind of a sweet read, or The Road Back to Us. It's a second chance romance. So I kind of send them just, and if they say I want paranormal, I've got paranormal too, and I'll send them to like Alpha and Omega, because it's about, you know, sexy angels. So I don't know, I just kind of feel them out first before I just send them blindly off into, you know, Dirty Ugly Toyland, because that's kind of, that book's kind of like intense, so I don't want to scare them away. But
this is my last question. If you could recommend one book to readers, yours or someone else's, what book should almost every reader read?
Well, I would say Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. That was one of the first books that I read that was, you know, that I found on my Kindle, you know. So it was really sad, but it was romantic and sweet, and it was just a really neat book. And anytime people are like, I'm just starting to read, I try to send them there, because I feel like that's a good starting point, because it's intriguing and everything, and it's got a good, it's just kind of a interesting storyline. And so but it's a good step into it. I don't want to send them off to, here, read 50 Shades of Grey first, the very first thing you've ever read, just because you never know. Some people need to be eased into that. So, I mean, I certainly, believe it or not, needed to be eased into it on the romance side, because I mostly read, like, thrillers and horror and stuff like that. And so whenever I read Colleen Hoover, I was like, oh, I think I like this romance thing. I'm going to read some more. And then a couple of books later, my friend's like, you need to read 50 Shades of Grey. I was like, what is this? What is this? And then I read it, I was like, ooh, okay, well, how do I get more books like this? So.
Do you have anything else?
No, I really don't. I just want to thank you, Christy, for kind of being our guinea pig, and it's been kind of fun, and we've had a lot of get to know you more, and I hope everybody else enjoys as much as Amanda and I enjoy doing this. It's kind of something fun that we like to do.
Yeah, I got to show you all my Can you see it? Can you see it?
That is.
That's great. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. And so thank you for joining us after our interview with Christy. We are going to review a couple of her books now. It's Always in Love Blogs with Amanda and Ethel. And here we go.
Hi. So the book that we're going to do is This is War, Baby, and then This is Love, Baby. And so I'm going to give you this does end on a cliffhanger. I don't want to give any spoilers, and neither does Amanda, because you have to really read the book to appreciate all of the twists and turns and how this book, this is not what you expect when you start reading it. And as Bailey thought her life had a plan until somebody in her life who she's known for most of her life invaded it and stole it all away. So he became her captor, and she became his pawn. And so it's kind of like a playoff of chess. And as time went on, she is given away to what they call war, and war has everything. Money is everything in his world, and it's this world. And she found some peace, and she didn't know she was going to find peace, and she found something that she was not ready for, because her life at the time is completely a cluster, and it kind of goes back and forth, and she's just a strong person. Bailey's a strong person that kind of overcomes some things, and you wouldn't expect it. And then at the very end, it is kind of taken away. And this is the cliffhanger. And it goes into the part 2 of the book. Don't worry, part 2's out. And it's, I don't know. I love This Is War, Baby. It was one of those that I read it in one sitting. I couldn't put it down because I had to know the suspense in it. And it was kind of a taboo topic, but it really isn't a taboo topic because I loved it. And I can be a prude sometimes, but I'm not. This book is fabulous.
Yeah, this book is really hard to describe. Like, I put in my review that I read it, and then I tried to write the review for every day for a week, and I had no idea what to say. It was so good. It makes you feel so many things. It makes you like go into so many different, like you can't piece it all together. There's so many like what is happening type moments in this without being spoilers. But the characters themselves are really what sucks you into this. When we first meet Bailey, she's just a teenage girl with her high school love, and then her whole entire world is completely shattered. And it's just like, it's so mind-blowing to think, that this actually does happen. I mean, this happens to a lot of people. So it was really, really difficult to read some of these scenes. But it was so worth it in the end, because she really finds her strength. She really finds that she's able to fight back, and she really kind of finds herself. And finding herself, she kind of helps the guy that ends up kind of being her savior in the end, Warren, that they call him War. He, like she said, he has a lot of mental issues. He has a lot of issues that he needed someone who was a companion to kind of help him ease through all this stuff and to kind of make his life a little bit easier, so he wasn't so lonely all the time. And these two broken people kind of found each other, and it really makes all this hard stuff that you read. It really makes it worth it in the end.
Mm-hmm. And then we have This Is Love, Baby, and it's the cliffhanger, and Bailey's world is kind of crumbles apart there. That last paragraph, it's in This Is Love, you're like, did I just read that? And so then, I sat in angst for like 5 days until I got the next book. But then I started reading This Is Love, Baby, and Bailey is the queen, and she's trying to fight to, again, think of chess and like just, she's just trying to save everything she thought in her world was wrong. And the person that completely upsided her life is back in her life, and she doesn't know what to do. She can't, the trust is gone. She thought she had trust in so many people. And as she goes through this, she's fighting for everything, and she's fighting for survival. And the only thing she wants is war. And he is her soft place to fall. That's like one of my favorite sayings to say when there is, they're happily ever after stuff, but this is not really happily ever after, but it has a storyline that I like. I like that unknown until like you get to like the end. You're like, holy crap, did I just read this? I got to read this again. And I think I read this several times just because it's so good. And I felt like I could keep reading it over and over. What about you?
Yeah, it's one of those books that even though it has like so many twists and turns and you read them and you know that they're coming, if you start to read it again, you're blindsided all over again because the writing in this is just so well done that you don't actually see things coming. It's just like it's right out of left field, and you're taken by surprise. Even if you've read it 3 and 4 times, you're like, oh, completely forgot that happened. And then she has this way of writing the bad guy, Gabe, or one of the bad guys, Gabe, that you can't help but feel for this guy. And then 1 minute, and the next minute you completely hate him. And then it's just like he goes back and forth and he does and says sweet things, and then he's a complete monster. And you're just like, you have no idea what to think of him. But it's just one of those things that you want to know more about him. You want to know more about his story. You want to see where he's headed. And thankfully, she is actually writing a spin-off series. It's loosely interconnected, but it focuses on Gabe. And I'm so excited to read this because he was completely twisted, but I really love to see inside these people's heads and how the writers write these things, just to see things from their point of view. It makes a complete difference in the way that you view what they do and say. It's one of my favorite parts about their writing.
It is, and that's what I like about Gabe is I love to hate to love Gabe, and so he's Gabe, and I can't wait for the next book that Christy writes. And again, Christy is a phenomenal author. She writes, and she writes kind of a different of everything. So we have the lovey, happily ever after, and then we have the dark and twisted. And I like the dark and twisted, but I also like going back to her lovey-dovey stuff too. So again, we have the links within our video. I hope you guys get these books. I know Amanda and I really like these.
Yeah, they were a really great read. They were both 5 stars for me, and I really, really, really love to read them. Highly recommend it if you can kind of push through some of the harder to read things. It's really worth it to continue reading these. They're really great books, and one of my favorite things about Kay Webster's writing is how she can take just like a normal story, and she always has a different spin on it, and it really makes it interesting to read her books. So we'll have all of her links in there as well. Hopefully check out her work, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.